Well, let's bring in Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California. Congressman, it's always good to see you. Let's get right into it here because, sir, Congress couldn't even pass legislation to address the family reunification. So what do you expect to come from these mass demonstrations? More than 750 of them across this country.
Thank you, Alex, for that question. Well, let me tell you what House Republicans did do this week. They had an emergency hearing on Hillary Clinton's emails, but they did not have a hearing on the 2,000 babies and kids ripped away from their parents. That's why you're seeing mass protests and rallies across America. The people across America are angry. They want to see action. And I know that this November, people have the right to go change the makeup of Congress, and I hope that they will do so.
Can I just ask you, in your opinion, sir, why you think that the Republican-controlled House had a hearing about Hillary Clinton's emails as opposed to what was forthcoming here this weekend in immigration?
They are so completely out of touch with what is happening in America. They still think they're running against Hillary Clinton in 2016. It was one of the most bizarre and stupid, ridiculous hearings I've ever attended. And what we really should be focusing on now is reuniting these kids that are ripped away from their parents. The American Pediatric Association said that this kind of trauma can affect brain development and affect these kids for the rest of their lives.
Any encouragement by the images we see of some of these kids being reunited with their parents?
So we have had some brave federal judges order reunifications, but it doesn't need a federal judge to do this. We need the Trump administration to now start doing this. But what's particularly troubling is that public reporting shows that the Trump administration never had a plan for reuniting these families. That means there are babies and kids who are too young to identify their parents that may never be reunited. That is horrific. It's evil. It's the functional equivalent of kidnapping by our government.
Sir, I know that you wrote a letter to the DHS Inspector General trying to open an investigation regarding all the reports that asylum seekers are being turned away at the U.S. border before being referred even to an asylum officer. Anything you're hearing about the efforts to address this issue and when other setbacks that these asylum seekers are enduring will be fixed, changed, improved upon?
So the latest data shows that about 76% of the people showing up at our border have a credible fear of persecution, meaning they can file a legal asylum claim. Unfortunately, the Trump administration was separating kids from their families. Now they're saying as a condition of reunification, they have to give up all their claims. That is unlawful and illegal. It's one reason I led this letter signed by over 50 members of Congress. And the Inspector General is in a different chain of command. I have faith in the Inspector General, and let's see if that office can get DHS to do the right thing.
How about those Democrats, some with quite high profile, including Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio, also of New York, of course, states of New York. So you're going to get their leaning. But with regard to abolishing ICE, would eliminating that agency really solve the way the families are being treated at the southern border?
I understand exactly where that impulse is. And they're not saying abolish ICE and do nothing. They're saying abolish ICE and replace it with a new agency. My view is, first of all, Secretary Nielsen needs to resign as Secretary of Homeland Security. We need to have a new ICE director put in who is not cruel and will not execute inhumane orders. And then we need to change ICE's mission so they don't weaponize themselves to attack communities and terrorize communities. If none of that happens, then I would absolutely support abolishing ICE and replacing it with a new agency consistent with America's principles.
Sir, I want to shift gears here and talk about what we saw, and you saw as well, specifically in your role there sitting on the Judiciary Committee, this hearing on Thursday. For those who may not be familiar with what I'm about to talk about, here it is. Take a look.
You know, they talk about the Mueller investigation. It's really the Rosenstein investigation. You appointed Mueller. You're supervising Mueller.
There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart.
Mr. Rosenstein, why are you keeping information from Congress?
Congressman, I am not keeping any information from Congress.
I want to know why you won't give us what we've asked for.
Sir, I certainly hope that your colleagues are not under that impression. That is not accurate, sir.
That questioning there of the Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein there, what was your impression of that Judiciary Committee meeting?
So again, this was a stupid hearing on the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. We need to talk about family separation. But even the facts of this hearing that came out showed that the Department of Justice was not withholding information that was relevant to Congress. They've produced over 880,000 pages to House Republicans. Some of the information they're not producing is because it will jeopardize people's lives. It could reveal sources and methods. It could affect an ongoing investigation. And they properly documents. I hope they are not bullied, and I hope they continue to stand their ground and do not produce documents that they should not have to produce.
May I just ask you before I let you go, were you surprised by the contentious tenor of this hearing?
I was. And by the way, I agree with my colleague Trey Gowdy that they should finish the special counsel investigation up as soon as possible. And I think a good timeline would be the 2.5 years that he took to finish up his Benghazi investigation.
It seems how quickly we forget at times. All right.